With his 4 starts in the past, 0-2 record, 12 earned runs, walked 6, has 17 strikeouts. This ought to be a good duel tonight, Rob, between 2 very good young pitchers, both at 23 years of age.
Well, let me give you the PNC Bank scouting report. 6. That's what this kid is looking at going in his fifth start, actually. Continue to make adjustments, keep going right after people. And he has never met the Cincinnati Reds, so almost every time he goes out there, it's a new experience meeting one of these new lineups. So just keep making the adjustments, though. His last couple of outings, 10 hits and 10 hits. He's walking a few people. He's just got to go out there with Ross Detweiler stuff and challenge the Reds.
Yeah, defensively tonight, let's take a look at the Nationals' defense with Zimmerman down at third and Guzman at short. Hernandez at second base. Nick Johnson at first. Willie will be behind the plate. Catching tonight, Ross Detweiler, with Dunn and Harrison Dukes in the outfield. Detweiler, very, very good 2.8 to 1 strikeout to walk ratios. Only walked 1 or none in 3 or 4 starts this year.
Well, you know what? It just came to me, Johnny. He was the 6th overall pick in 2007. So that's the number 6. So he got here pretty quick, a couple of years.
Willie TAVERAS will step in to begin the ball game after this rain delay. And we're finally happy to get the first of 3 underway against the Cincinnati Reds. Detweiler's first pitch in for a strike. 64 degrees, chance of more rain, yes. And the 0-1 inside. Behind the plate, the umpire, Andy Fletcher. Angel Hernandez at first and Scott Berry umpiring at second. Tim McClellan is down at third tonight. Reds come to town 29-27 on the road, 15-13. And haven't won a game in this park. 0-3 here, 0-3 at RFK Stadium for the Moogler here. Shot to Zimmerman. And there's 1 quick out in the first inning.
Well, you bring up a great point. There was one year we went to San Francisco. That's when you played the same team in your division 18 times, much like it is today. And here's a nice play by Ryan Zimmerman. Tough hop right off the dirt in front of home plate. Had plenty of time.
Boy, Zimmerman just having another tremendous year. Especially that hitting streak he had where nobody could get him out.
No, 30 straight games is just a phenomenal hitting streak. And he wasn't just... It wasn't a cheapy 1 for 4 every night. The last 10 games, he raised his batting average 60 points. And he was hitting the heck out of the ball right at the end. And getting back to your, the Reds having trouble in here, we were 0-9 in 3 different trips into San Francisco at Candlestick Park. So sometimes it's just, a certain ballpark, a certain team just has your number. And right now, they don't play the Nationals an awful lot. And there's Dusty Baker trying to change things now. It's a different ball club, too. Much better pitching club than he's had in the past.
Yeah, the veteran manager, Dusty Baker. Count is 2 balls and a strike. The former Oriole Jerry Hairston Jr. led the Reds with 7 doubles last month. 25 runs scored. Comes in tonight with a batting average of .252, 7 homers driven at 18. Also stole 4 bases. 1 down. In the top of the first, Johnny Holiday in for Bob Carpenter tonight. Shot to center field. Willie Harris has a beat on this one. 2 quick outs for Ross Detweiler. So Willie Harris getting the job tonight in center field done. 20-4 record for the Reds. 83% when scoring in the first inning. Second in Major League Baseball. And when you look for the Nationals, Adam Dunn with 270 homers with Cincinnati, 4th most in team history. And the Nationals against right-handers this year hitting .270, and this year it's 2nd in the National League. Trying to bounce back after Sunday's shutout at the hands of the Mets 7-0. Only the 2nd time this year the ball club has been shut out. Brandon Phillips, the Reds' second baseman, with the .276 average coming in this ball game. 10 homers, driven at 41 with 27 runs, 21 walks, and 6 stolen bases. But when you talk about Strasburg, Rob, becoming a member next year of what is a very, very young starting rotation here, that brings smiles to everybody's faces.
But it's not just one player. You know, you need the entire, and I've said this time and time again, Johnny, you need the entire team to bear down and get better defensively. They have the talent. And, you know, Manny Acta can only do so much. They have to execute between the lines. And pitching and defense is great. They got plenty of offense, but you got to do it together as a team.
And it's a 1-2-3 first inning for Detwiler against the Cincinnati Reds. As we go to the bottom of the first, CRISTIAN GUZMAN, Nick Johnson, and Ryan Zimmerman coming up. Now we'll check the Southwest lineups for the Nationals tonight. They'll go this way with CRISTIAN GUZMAN leading off at short. Nick Johnson will be in the number 2 hole. Then Ryan Zimmerman down at third. Adam Dunn in the cleanup spot again tonight with Elijah Dukes in right. Willie Harris in center. Anderson Hernandez will be down at second base. Will Davis catching Ross Detwiler. Dukes with a .340 average and Nats wins this year. Another young guy that's 23 years of old, Rob, and this guy's got tremendous poise in the mound for such a young guy.
Yes, he does, and that's one of the things with Volquez. When you bring in Johnny Cueto's and Volquez, it's a lot like the Nationals. The young kids have to develop quickly at the major league level, and he's done a great job.
Johnny Cueto winning at St. Louis on Wednesday 9-3. Only gave up 1 run in 6 1/3. He'd gone 7 innings or more in his previous 8 starts. Certainly doesn't pitch like he's 23 years old, does he?
No, he does not. And Volquez is another young man that when he's healthy, he pitches like an older gentleman.
The first pitch to Guzman is in there for a strike. Johnny Cueto from San Pedro de Macorís, Dominican Republic. .23 years old, 5'10", 200 pounds. He's won 5 and lost 3 so far this year. ERA at 2.43. And Guzman takes a call strike. 0-2. 1-2. CRISTIAN 10th in the National League with a .328 average. Had a big night against the Mets on Friday with 3 for 5 with a double. And the 1-2. Line drive to center, base hit.
Well, you already talked about the 7 innings every time out there the last 8 starts. He's also in the top 5 in the National League in earned run average, number 4 right now. He's like our youngsters, very young, 23 years old. This is his 43rd Major League start and 7-11. Like I said, this guy, 11 starts this year. The team has won 7 of them. So that's my big stat, is the decisions the team has when a guy takes the hill. They like when Johnny Cueto's out there.
And this is the 12th time he has started for Dusty Baker this year. Guzman at first. Nick Johnson stepping in. 65 hits and 200 at-bats. RBI total up to 30 now with 5 homers and a .325 batting average. And the 1-0 from Cueto. Could be two. Great stop. And a twin killing yes. Alex Gonzalez deep in the hole to bring it up and toss it off to Phillips. Completes the double play.
These are two of the better glove men in the National League Central right here. And you see right here, it's making the stop. Then Gonzalez makes it. He knows Brandon Phillips is going to be there to turn the double play. So this is a 6-4-3, but this is more of a, I know you're going to be there when I flip this with my leather instead of a hand. And that's playing together.
I think we saw that in the Mets series, too, didn't we, Rob? Great play at second.
Yep. I just think, once our guys, once Hernandez and Gonzalez put in a couple of years together, really start knowing when the other one's going to be there and what the timing is and stuff like that, you'll see much better defense up the middle.
Ryan Zimmerman against Johnny Cueto. Zimmerman, career-wise, against this guy, 17, against the Reds, 17 for 51. And a pretty good batting average in all these games he's played against Cincinnati, 333. Breaking ball outside, catches the corner for strike one. And the 2-1. The Nats have got 2 base hits here in the first inning. And there's that Cincinnati defense. Hannigan behind the plate catching Cueto. Down at first is Hernandez. Phillips at second. Gonzalez at short. Gary Hairston Jr. at third. The outfield with Johnny Gomes in left. Tavares at center. And Jay Bruce in right.
Well, and Ramon Hernandez is playing first base tonight, former catcher of the Baltimore Orioles, because Joey Votto is on the disabled list. So you got a catcher at first. Because of his bat, pretty much. But Joey Votto, very missed in the lineup.
Robert, we're looking through the Cincinnati record books, and Adam Dunn's name is prominently displayed
everywhere.
almost as many times as your name is displayed. Well, did he have some numbers with Cincinnati?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And he's working on his 6th straight year with 40 or more home runs, which I just think is amazing.
Let's take a look and see what he did. 1,087 games, 247 batting average, 270 homers, 646 runs driven in. And when you look for a single season home run total, only Ted Kluszewski and George Foster had more in a single season than Adam Dunn did when he hit.
I think what, a Big Clue hit 49 one year, and Foster hit 52.
52. Back in 1954 for Ted Kluszewski and 77 for George Foster. But from 2004, 05, 06, 07, 46, 40, 40, and 40. I think that's getting the job done.
It is. And as a former pitcher, when I sit here and I think, okay, that guy's in the middle of your lineup, I don't want to pitch to him, so I'm going to pitch around him. And I think, the healthier Elijah Duke stays and the more Ryan Zimmerman hits, the better pitches that Adam Dunn will see. But he helps out the entire lineup just by being in there. And I've talked to Hall of Famer in waiting, Jim Rice, who just got elected to the Hall of Fame. And he used to tell his managers, Johnny, that I want to be in the lineup, even if I'm hurt, sick, whatever.
Want to play.
I want to play because it makes the lineup better when I'm in it. And that's the same thing with Adam Dunn. Whether he's hitting or not, he makes the lineup that much more dangerous in the other pitcher's mind.
Now, when you look at this lineup with Zimmerman in front of him and Dukes behind him, can't quite pitch around.
No, both of those guys are dangerous, and they're going to become better. The more confidence that Zimmerman and Dukes get, I'll tell you, regardless of what Adam Dunn's doing, they're going to light up this league.
So the Nats have runners at first and second with 2 down here at the bottom of the first.
We've seen a little bit of what Ryan can do, but Elijah, he is just so strong, and he's got quick hands to the ball. You can't get it inside on him. He crushes that pitch.
Elijah's got a home run off of Johnny Cueto in 3 at-bats against him. And check swing, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Zimmerman down at second, Dunn at first. And there's 2 down in a scoreless ball game in the bottom of the first. Bob Carpenter taking a couple of days off. Johnny Holiday happy to be with Mr. Dibble today, tomorrow and Thursday.
Well, you and I had met back at the Ohio Broadcasters Hall of Fame dinner? Isn't that where we first met years ago?
Yeah, that's exactly right. When you were there introducing an old buddy of yours.
Yes.
Shall
Dan
remain
Patrick.
nameless.
No, this is Dan Patrick. And he went into the Ohio. Is it Ohio State or just Ohio?
Yeah, just Ohio.
Ohio Broadcasters Hall of Fame, and you also went in that night.
I did.
And that's when you and I first met.
Right. And you said to me, I believe, please get out of the way. I'm trying to get to the buffet.
Get out of here. That's very funny. That wasn't my bigger days, though. I was swallowing a lot of creatine back then. Trying to look as buff as I could.
Yeah. Count as 2-1. You were a little larger than I believe.
Yes.
2-1 to Dukes. With 2 out in the bottom of the first. Catches the outside corner for a strike. The count is even.
Well, when I took this job and I started putting on some suits and things like that a couple of years ago, I had to have them all taken in because I was about 30 pounds heavier when I was lifting every day. And so it's.
What'd you play at? What was your top weight at playing?
225.
225?
Yeah. But back then, when you saw me, I was about 270.
Yeah, you hadn't missed a lot of those buffets opening at 5 o'clock.
No, but that's the toughest thing when you retire. You don't run as
much.
Right.
That's right.
You know, you're maybe having a few more adult beverages, but, you know.
A few more, yes. Count is full to Dukes. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Runners at first and second. Natson got a chance to give Ross Detwiler a quick little lead in the first inning.
Well, you already got Cueto. This will be his 20th pitch of the inning. I always like when you work this guy that hard.
And a check swing. And yeah, the base is loaded now as Dukes works a walk off of Johnny Cueto.
Elijah may have stole this walk right here. Let's check the side angle, see if he broke his hands across the plane. No, I think he held up enough to get that call. This is a strong man, strong forearms.
No, Zimmerman with a base hit and 2 walks, 1 to Dunn and 1 to Dukes. They've got the bases loaded and a trip to the mound. And maybe settle down Johnny Cueto. This is very uncharacteristic for him. If you're going to get him, I guess, Rob, you get him early, don't you?
Yeah, that was Dick Cole, the pitching coach.
Connie's last outing at St. Louis on Wednesday went 5. Actually, more than that.
Well, in last year, he really hit a wall after June. In July, his ERA shot up to 6. Cueto last year, Johnny. Got a little bit tired. Remember, these are young men. He's 22 years old, threw a lot of innings. In July, his stuff deteriorated. After the All-Star break, was 2-5 with a 5 ERA. After starting 7-9 before the All-Star break.
And this is the 43rd start for this kid.
This
at age 23.
And it's interesting, you know, when we were talking earlier before the rain delay, and I talked to George Jurgens, he was talking about that's the most difficult thing for him is to keep himself in shape. I said, what are you doing today? He said, I'm just doing my work to keep myself in shape. I mean, for a young guy to all of a sudden, and we talked about Matt Cain when the Giants were here, some guys don't have the best cardiovascular, they don't have a good running program, they don't know how to put in a lot of miles in between starts. I mean, it's a new experience for these guys that pitch 6 months and every 5th day. Some of the things facing Strasburg.
And Willie Harris will take a pitch down low, and it's 2 balls and a strike with the bases loaded. When you combine Detwiler's starts, tonight is what, his 6th start, 5th start for us,
5th start, yeah.
And 43rd for this guy.
Yep.
And they're both the same age. Zimmerman at third, Dukes over at first and down at second. And Harris takes high for ball 3.
I think with the bases loaded right here, you got to take a pitch, make him throw strike 2. But this is above the pitch track with the breaking ball. Kind of dropped down a little bit on that.
And the 3-1 from Johnny Cueto.
Take a pitch, fastball.
And the count is full. Runners will be off and running. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first.
the last pitch on the pitch track. 3-1 on the bottom.
And the runners go. Harris with a foul off to the right.
And they'll go back.
Almost got Hernandez in the on-deck circle.
I mean, John Lannon leads our staff right now in career starts at 49, Johnny. I mean, that's how young this pitching staff is for the Washington Nationals. 24 years old for John Lannon. 49 career starts, 287 and 2/3 innings at the Major League level. Not a whole lot of experience.
Runners go again. Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Johnny Cueto on the rocks there in the first inning. The Nats couldn't get anything out of him. We'll be back to the top of the second in a moment. Trip at southwest.com. And by Honda. You can depend on your Honda dealer for great leases and low financing. We go to the top of the second here at Nationals Park. Johnny Holiday with Rob Dibble here in Masson. Great to have you with us tonight. The first of 3 with the Cincinnati Reds. The only time that they come into this ballpark this year. We go there later on in the year. And Rob, I know the same as Ray Knight when we were talking with Ray about when you do a ball game against the franchise you used to be with. Brings back so many fond memories for both you guys.
Yes, it does. But I don't know if I'm more tied to the Reds like Ray is. I know Ray speaks so highly of the former organization, but to me, when I was there, it was fun. It was great. We won a world championship.
6 years, right?
Yeah. You know, 7.5 seasons with them. And to me, you know, it is great, but that was so long ago now. I've been doing this for 12 years that you've got new ownership, you know, new management, a whole new coaching staff, and there's not one player that I played with still there. So it makes a big difference. It's just the name, yes, but you know, a lot of people still think I have this alliance or allegiance to the Reds. Yes, in some ways I always will, as far as being drafted by them and playing there. But I like to think of being a part of the Nationals now, and I've, you know, long since moved on to that. Went to the White Sox and the Brewers and the Marlins, and you know, you gotta. I try not to live out of my scrapbook.
Yeah, exactly. For Martin Hernandez, as you mentioned, Rob, it's because Joey Votto's been on the DL. 17th start tonight at first base, and he fouls one off to the right. Ball didn't play, I guess. Yeah, it didn't play. And we got one down. Hernandez, as Davis guns him down.
Oh man! So you had to pull out the mullet pictures.
Good hair too. Here you go. 1990 NLCS championship game.
And during the season, Jose Chico Lynn, he had my number. He was like 7 for 7 against me. But during the playoffs, this was a lot of fun. I was just a little bit pumped up.
Just a little.
Guys didn't want to high-five me coming through the line after the game.
Russ Detwiler setting on the first 4 Reds he has faced tonight. And Johnny Gomes will step in, the left fielder. Pretty impressive numbers there, Dibs. 26, 23, 88 saves. Look at the opponent's batting average. Of course, they couldn't dig in either. 198.
It was fun. It was fun. I don't even know that guy, though. You know, it was a long time ago. A lot of cheeseburgers ago.
Johnny Gomes, number 7 for 24.
I like this kid. This kid came from the Rays. They picked him up. I think he was a free agent. Now he's getting a lot more playing time. They've had a number of injuries, so now they're finding if you can hit a little bit, they'll find room for you somewhere in the lineup.
Only his 5th start this year for the Reds, and his 3rd start in left field. We're at a scoreless ball game at the top of the 2nd, delayed almost 2 hours because of rain. A pop down the right field line, and Anderson Hernandez wisely, I'm not sure if he slipped or did that on purpose. He saw that fence approaching real quickly. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes to Johnny Gomes.
I think he's got those old Johnny Unitas high tops on.
What's this?
It's a little bit.
Yeah, he's sliding down. Yeah,
a little bit slippery out there and sloshy.
Nick Johnson avoiding a collision with him. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out.
Check out the shoes. See, that was my favorite part about being in the big leagues. Although I never got like custom shoes like that.
See, if you were playing today, and down goes Gomes and strikes, you'd be completely outfitted by Kevin Plank and the folks at Under Armour, wouldn't you? You'd probably be a spokesman for him right now if you were still playing.
I would love Under Armour as a player. They didn't have that back in my day.
They didn't. That's right.
And their Under Armour and stuff like that. I'll give you, for instance, they outfit the troops. And when I went over to Iraq to visit the troops for a couple weeks a few years ago, it's 127 degrees in Iraq. And everybody had Under Armour to stay cool underneath their uniforms. So I thought that was awesome. You know, the entire military, Marines, the Army, the Air Force, everybody has Under Armour stuff underneath their stuff while they're fighting a war. It's impressive.
Reds right fielder Jay Bruce against Russ Detwiler. Leads the ball club with 14 home runs this year. Last 10 games, 3 for 33, though, only a 091 batting average. Breaking ball away, 2 balls and a strike to Jay Bruce. 30 RBIs. Reds have only won 15 ball games on the road, while dropping 13. Their starting pitching staff, pretty good ERA. 24 and 21 the numbers for the starters, and 5 and 6 for the bullpen.
I was reading an article. They want to name their bullpen as Weather and Rhodes have done a great job for them. Give them any name you want. I mean, you don't have to be tied to the Nasty Boy moniker from years ago. In fact, that was because of the stuff, not because of we were angry young men,
right.
Although we were. But
let's take a look again. Oh my goodness!
Tim Tuffle. See, now, I grew up on the wrong side of the tracks. He was from Greenwich, Connecticut. I just didn't go for that.
You're from the other side of Connecticut.
That's right. I'm from the Waterbury, Southington, blue collar, Sikorsky aircraft, Pratt & Whitney.
You were moving pretty quick when you came out toward the mound.
Hey, that silverback gorilla can get across the field. So, yeah, it's crazy. And the worst thing was, Johnny, was my parents were there and my family, because, coming down from Connecticut. I don't know what got into me when I got on the baseball field.
Alex Gonzalez with a shot to right, base hit. Bruce will make the turn and stay at second base, and the first base hit off the Detwiler from Alex Gonzalez. We're not done, Dibs. Here comes some more.
Oh, yeah, Eric Yelding. Look at the block of the helmet, though. You could Exmo that one. That was pretty good. Yeah, that was pretty ugly.
Crew cut going back in those days, too, huh?
I owe everybody in the truck an awful lot.
And this is only the second inning, my friend.
It's unbelievable. Payback is just incredible. Yeah, that was one of my worst and regrettable moments. Was the Doug DeCenzo suicide squeeze, and I had a flashback to when I was a child, and you could tag the runner out by hitting him with the ball. It doesn't work at the big league level. Some serious meltdowns.
Sure did. That's pretty good stuff there. Right-handed at the catcher. with 2 outs here, top of the second. With Bruce at second and Alex Gonzalez with a first base hit down at first. And the count, no ball and a strike to Ryan Hannigan. The rookie hitting .322. Shot to right. This could score a run. And it does, and Cincinnati takes a 1-0 lead. Bruce all the way around from second to score. Gonzalez winds up at third. And Hannigan with a base hit to right, and it's a 1-0 Reds lead.
Well, some great 2-out hitting right here by the Reds. It's a really nice pitcher's pitch, and Hannigan goes away and hits it to right field. Doesn't get a lot on it. Just enough to score a run.
So Cincinnati up with a 1-0 advantage here in the top of the second. It'll bring up Johnny Cueto.
Cueto reminds me of that cartoon Johnny Quest.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes, I know it well.
So he's like a superhero.
Johnny Cueto reminds me of some of the guys I played high school baseball with who couldn't hit as pitchers. He's 4 for 23. It's a 174 batting average and 1 RBI.
He's not like our Chiron Martis.
No. Martis can hit, can't he? He likes to take some cuts up there.
Yes, he does.
DETWILER, Cueto's kind of trying to out. Want to get a base hit, hits him, and he's out of there, and that takes care of the inning. But not before. Cincinnati gets an RBI from Ryan Hannigan, and they take a 1-0 lead after 1.5. Nationals Park, and we're delighted to have on the telephone with us the Nationals' second selection today, premier college closer out there from California. Drew, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Hey, congratulations to you, my friend.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me on.
Drew, even more impressive, the 10th overall pick in the draft, and obviously a lot of people talked about Steven Strasburg, but you've got to be very excited. This is probably the biggest day in your life so far.
Oh, no doubt, and it's exciting to be linked with such a great pitcher like him, too.
Well, as far as you got the news, who made the first phone call to you?
Well, actually, Mike Rizzo did. Actually, Mr. Rizzo called me about 5 minutes after and just kind of said congratulations and how excited they were. And I don't think he was nearly excited as I was. That's for sure.
Now, back when you decided to go to Stanford, did you ever think you'd go so high in the draft? I mean, Stanford's a great academic school as well as a good baseball school.
You know, I didn't expect it, but I also didn't think it was out of the question just because the quality program and the great pitchers that have come out of there before. And granted, I didn't expect to go 10th overall, but I thought, maybe I had a good possibility of getting up there. So it ended up working out all right.
You're good friends with Hagerstown pitcher Jack McGarry. Weren't you guys roommates?
Yes, we are roommates, and we've been talking here for the last couple of weeks, and we were both really hoping that this was going to work out because it'd be pretty awesome.
So would you like to try to catch up with him in the minor leagues, or do you want to get up here to the big leagues quicker?
I wouldn't mind catching up with them, but I also wouldn't mind passing them. With a little friendly competition. I don't think a little friendly competition would hurt anybody.
Tell us about your ball club this year.
We're good. You know, I think it took us a while to find our identity. Actually, we lost so many great guys last year, especially obviously with Jason Castro, who went 10th last year. It took us a while to find our identity, and we struggled at the beginning of the year. But once the season started going, and we had some guys step up, we made a late season push, but unfortunately we didn't make the playoffs, and that's what I was telling people today is, as great as today would be, it would make it one step better for getting ready for Omaha.
When you were drafted today by the Nationals, you were at home with your folks in Indiana. How many other people were there with you?
Oh, I'd say there were probably about 30 other people that are jammed, and they were all going crazy. It was quite the experience.
Well, I worked with your dad for a number of years at XM Satellite Radio. How's your dad doing? How excited is your mom and dad?
Oh, they're both ecstatic. My dad was definitely more excited than I was. I think I think I was too much in shock. I just kind of sat there and was like, wow, this is pretty unbelievable. And so him and I have been on the phone pretty much all night. So it's a great, it's just a great night all around, and couldn't write anything better than this.
Now, you've been to D.C., haven't you? You've been to
Yes,
RFK Stadium and Nationals Park?
Yeah, I came out to RFK a couple of years back, and actually went there with my sister and was able to catch a Nationals game. And then last week, got to come out and see the new stadium. So that was pretty cool to come out and see the great new ballpark.
Drew, I think any young guy that plays high school baseball, and I think everybody has visions of maybe someday getting to be a Major League Baseball player. At what age did you realize that you had something special God-given talent that might propel you someday to be at a Major League Ball club?
I think probably my junior year, once the college attention, I kind of hoped that, hey, maybe this professional thing would work out. And actually, the goal I set for myself was to make it to the big leagues as soon as possible. Back in the day, I was a bat boy for the Expos a couple times, and I was able to meet Chad Cordero right after he got called up in August. And he was extremely nice to me, and really treated me well. And so I kind of looked up to him ever since then, and I was like, wow, this guy just was in college a couple months ago. Now he's in the big league. So that's who I looked up to.
Well, Drew, thank you very much. Rob and I really appreciate you taking time to visit with us. We know it's a very, very happy day for you and your family and all of your friends, and we hope to see you up here real soon, and we hope things work out for the very best for you.
Well, thanks a lot, and thanks for having me on.
You bet,
thanks,
my friend.
Drew. Say hi to your dad for me.
Will do.
Drew Soren, one of the Nationals picks today, #1 Steven Strasburg, and this young guy can play too, can he, Rob?
Yeah, he could play. He was drafted by the Yankees out of high school, but he'd already committed to Stanford, so he went a little lower in the 2007 draft, 34th round. They also thought he'd be hard to sign, so that's why he fell a little bit in the draft. But he's got a very good, lively upper 80s to upper 90s fastball, and if you got him penciled into the bullpen, this team in a few years, you're talking about Strasburg coming up here, McGeary coming up here. You still got a lot of guys down in the lower levels that are throwing the ball really well. Ballister's down there. Not all of them will probably pitch up here, but like Ray and I talked about, this is some of the stuff that makes organizations great, because then you can use a couple of pitchers in a trade and get you some players that put you over the top. Right. So you can never have enough young pitching. You can never have enough talented pitching.
Detwiler takes a call, third strike, and that's it for the Nationals here in the second. Johnny Holiday and Rob Dibble. We go to the top of the third at Nats Park. CINatwas.com. And by Firestone, a tradition of innovation. As we head to the top of the third, 1-0 Cincinnati. Get your free red on and buy yourself a Grand Slam flex plan today. Pick 4 games, get 1 free. 5 different flex plans to choose from so you can enjoy ultimate flexibility. Pick your plan, pick your games, and pick your seats and get a free game. It's that easy. For information on the all-new Grand Slam flex plans, call 202-675-NATS or visit nationals.com/Grand Slam. Ross Detwiler goes to work top of the third with the top of the Reds lineup. TAVERAS and Hairston and Brandon Phillips in a 1-0 Cincinnati lead. Ross's 5th start, 4th at home this year. And the pitch inside. It caught the corner for a strike. Take it for a ball. Ross 6'5", 175-pounder, only given up 1 home run this year. That ball's inside.
Well, and as I said in the PNC scouting report, just keep making adjustments because he's being heavily scouted right now. Every time we're playing a new series, he's been scouted for a week, and they've maybe probably seen 2 starts from Detwiler, and he has to prepare himself now. They know my stuff pretty well. They know the habits that I have right now. They know the fact that, 2-1, I might throw a breaking ball, et cetera, et cetera. So he's got to be making mental adjustments right now on the fly. That's what's going to make him a big league pitcher.
Hey, Rob, it doesn't take long for the scouts to pick up on certain tendencies, does it?
No, absolutely not. That's the key here is technology, and word gets around so quickly. It's a lot quicker than in my day when the guy would have to see you, send a report maybe by mail or whatever, Pony Express. But now it's instantaneous. There could be somewhere, somebody sitting there, got a video phone watching this kid throw right now. I mean, that's how quick it is. So, Ross and all the new generation of pitchers really have to concentrate hard every start, every pitch, because someone has already seen what they did their last start, 2 starts ago, when he first got called up here. And, like you said, 5 starts in now. The last 2 starts, he's had a little bit of a problem, 20 hits in 9 innings. Well, that's not just his fault. That's because you see the approach of the Reds. They're already starting to take his good stuff the other way.
Yes, they are.
Nice.
Yeah, called 3rd strike, and
you're not going to.
There's 1 down in the 3rd.
Ross Detwiler, one of the best breaking balls on the team. You see it right there. Round about the outside corner. This is what you would call a backdoor breaking ball. And now you get shown the back door. Grab some pine.
And at that sequence to Willie Taveras, the gun went up to 94 on one of his fastballs.
Well, 94, 78, what a separation. So, they know they've got to start subtracting some pitches here and there. Okay, got a great fastball. Maybe I'll look for the curveball, try to hit the other way. Change up. I got to watch out for some of this stuff.
Jerry Hairston's really been struggling. In fact, he's raised his batting average as he digs in against Detwiler from 156 up to 288 over the past 29 games. Hairston flied to center his first time up, back in the 1st. Reds lead 1-0 near the top of the 3rd. A good high fastball, 93 in the gun for that one. Detwiler so far, 41 pitches, 25 have been for strikes. Cincinnati's not having even though they got a record, Rob, of 29-27, they've lost 7 of their last 10 ball games. They've been having some problems too.
Well, I think the Volquez stuff, they need Edinson Volquez to come back strong. And, whenever you have guys like Joey Votto sick and he's out on the disabled list, you've got Jay Bruce struggling against lefties. 1-2, another great breaking ball right there. And if your umpire is going to give you some of these pitches, this is a great pitch to throw. Keep backdooring these guys until they make an adjustment and take that pitch to right field.
Grounded out to short. Brandon Phillips first time up, and Taveras has gone down looking on strikes. Hairston with a call, 3rd strike. That's the 3rd strikeout for Detwiler. The bouncing ball to Guzman at short. Easy play to first. And the Reds are gone as they were in the first inning. Here at the top of the third. 1, 2, 3. We'll be back in a moment.
Jeff Coverness, he's a second baseman out of Cal Berkeley. He was the 50th pick. He's a left-handed batter who throws right-handed. Now, remember, the draft is 3 days long and still ahead. The Nats have the 81st pick in the third round, the 112th pick in the fourth, and the 142nd in the fifth. So still a lot of work being done here at the ballpark.
Debbie, thank you very much. Bouncing ball to second base. Easy play for Hernandez. We're in the top bottom of the third here at Nationals Park. Johnny go on the mound. It's a 1-0 ball game. Cincinnati getting a run, and Ryan Hannigan's RBI in the bottom of the top of the second after a walk and a base hit in that inning. And Nick Johnson in for the second time tonight. Into a double play back in the first inning.
Yeah, that hurt. That 6-4-3 in the first inning. Guzman got a single, and then Zimmerman got a single, and then a walk, and Harris struck out.
Ryan Zimmerman on deck, and then Adam Dunn.
I was talking, like I said before, I was talking to Jar Jurgens. He says at most he shakes off Brian McCann twice a game in Atlanta. At most. So you're talking about, you know, a really young kid, 23 years old for Jurgens, 188 innings pitched last year, learned a lot from Smoltz and Glavine and those guys, and now he works really well with his catcher. Those are all things that help you at this level.
And we talked during the inning break about the catching situation with Nieves. Martin was originally penciled in to be the starting catcher tonight. But Nieves is catching Russ Detwiler. And sometimes guys get on the same page, too, don't they, Ron?
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough to start rookie ball with Joe Oliver and go all the way up to the major leagues and then play a number of years with Joe, maybe 11 straight years with him. So Joe knew me better than I did. I mean, in warm-ups, he would do my delivery and stuff and goof on me and things like that. So, yeah, the more communication there is, and I don't just mean, you know, looking in for the signs and all that stuff, the more you're on the same wavelength, that guy knows what you want to throw before you throw it, right. The easier it's going to be for these young pitchers and for this ball club in general.
Count is full to Nick Johnson, a shot to center field. TAVERAS has a beat on that one, and there's 2 down. Nick Johnson's fly ball to center. Get your family fun pack tickets. Bring the whole gang out to the ballpark. For all Sunday games, you can purchase a $14 upper right field terrace ticket or a $25 lower left right field reserve ticket. And you'll get a hot dog, non-alcoholic drink, and chips. Minimum of 2 tickets per purchase. You just bring the whole family out early for pregame autographs and stay for postgame. Kids run the bases. For tickets, call 888-632-NATS. Visit Nationals.com. Or stop by the Nationals Park box office and get your red on. We're at the bottom of the third at Nationals Park as Ryan Zimmerman steps in against Johnny Cueto in this 1-0 Cincinnati ball game. Both ball clubs with 2 hits. The Reds have a run on theirs. And Zimmerman takes a pitch high and tight for 1 ball and 1 strike.
Now, how many years were you DJ?
Almost 20, I guess.
Rock and roll?
Yep. Yep.
You must have met a lot of the old timers, huh?
Give me a name.
Geez, I don't want to date you.
That's okay. I think you already have. No. Yeah, I started.
Did you ever meet Elvis?
No, never did.
Okay, not that far back.
Beatles. Yep.
Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones. Yep.
Now, and maybe for some of the listeners who don't remember radio like you and I do, I mean, the groups had to sell their albums, and you know when they were touring, they'd come by the radio stations,
exactly
so
right.
you would play their albums,
and they'd sit there and listen to them.
Absolutely,
sure.
And,
like Jefferson Airplane and Ray Slick, and
you ever meet Deep Purple?
Yes.
Oh, I love Deep Purple.
Janis Joplin.
Jimi Hendrix.
But there was 2 different eras. Jimi Hendrix, yes.
Yeah.
There was the eras of the 60s, then the 70s. And the 70s were interesting.
That had to be crazy.
When the music kind of changed a little bit.
Did you have long hair?
Longer than it is now. It's not very long now, is it? Had the tight pants, you know, whole thing. Well, San Francisco would make you get like that.
Were you Dr. Johnny Holiday?
No, I wasn't. No, I was Master Johnny Holiday. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Ryan Zimmerman. And the outside corner, he caught it for strike 3. And you can see the frustration there for Ryan, and the Nationals retired, and we head to the top of the 4th. Cincinnati up 1-0. As we go to the top of the 4th, and look who's coming along here.
That's Medwick.
Named the last Expos draft pick to go directly to the majors.
That's a great question.
Man. Chip's been waiting all year for this, huh? Okay. And Dibbs will come up with an answer for this one. Ramon Hernandez handling the first base duties tonight.
Was he their first overall pick? Randy Johnson. No, he didn't go directly.
Didn't play in the minor leagues. And the 1-0 to Hernandez. And it's 2 balls and no strikes.
Vlad Guerrero. Marquise Grissom.
Don't look at me.
Andre Dawson.
Elijah Dukes over by the line.
Oh, nice catch.
Nice catch is right. Sweet. I don't think you kind of casual that one into his glove. in foul territory.
Johnny, it can't be easy. He's banging between center and right field, back and forth, and it's a tough corner to play. It's got its little ins and outs, and he goes right up against the wall, and he makes a great grab right there. Oh, yeah. I can't believe it.
Ramon, a look of frustration.
Don't make room for you on the bench.
Have a seat. Johnny Gomes, the left fielder, struck out back in the second. 7 hits and 25 at-bats for the Reds left fielder. Here's Detwiler's delivery. 4 for 1 with a strikeout back. Swinging in the second. Cincinnati in town tonight off a 14-inning loss to the Cubs on Sunday. A game in which they had 0 for 13 with runners in scoring position. Swing and a miss from Gomes.
You think Gary Carter went right to the big leagues?
Gary Carter?
Joe, how do you know?
I'm guessing yes.
Yes.
And the 1-2. Got it down to Hernandez. Nick Johnson and his 2 down.
All right. Let's answer the question.
The last Expos draft pick to go right to the major leagues. And the answer is Hayden Cavilla.
Right from Oklahoma State, right to the big.
1985. Reds right fielder Jay Bruce hitting from the left side. He walked and scored the only Cincinnati run back in the second. He had some troubles recently, went 0 for 17.
Peaks and valleys. It's going to happen. He's a young kid.
It's the longest drought in his career.
Got great power numbers, but they're saying, oh, he doesn't hit lefties and his on base is this and that. You know what? If he's proved that he could play at the minor league level, what are you going to do? Send him back down? It's not going to help him.
Batting average at 216, 9 strikeouts last 10 games. 091 batting average.
It's a very humbling sport.
It certainly is. Here's the 1-2 from Detwiler. High fly to left field, and Adam Dunn has a beat on this. And Dunn will be leading off for the Nationals when we come back. Another 1-2-3 inning for Ross Detwiler. It is 1-0 Cincinnati. Will Teddy ever win a race? Will he ever? Not tonight.
He will when I don that head.
It's a runaway again tonight for Mr. Lincoln.
Obviously, you know I don't like being the underdog.
I understand that.
So,
yes.
For Teddy. What are we teaching the youth of America?
That's right.
For Teddy.
Adam Dunn with a shot to right. And right in the hands of Jay Bruce, and is one down and one pitch.
Speaking of Mr. Bruce, one of the things you're talking about, hitting 173 off of left-handers this year, 283 on base percentage, 17 strikeouts, 1 home run and 4 ribbies, 13 and 26 against righties. And he's hitting about 60 points higher against righties, still 231. It's a learning process. It's very difficult.
And of those 14 home runs, most against right-hand?
13 against right. So whatever they know, whatever the scouting report is against Jay Bruce, they're just, he hasn't made the adjustment, you know, so they're just exploiting that weakness right now. Until he makes the adjustment, there's no reason to go back and try to pitch whatever, you know, the scouting report is on him. He's got a hole inside, a hole outside. He's such a young kid, 22 years old.
You know, something, Robert, you look at these young guys, and you got to have some guys around them with experience, guys that have been there and done that maybe they can feed off of. You and I were talking with the announcement of Strasburg getting signed, that you want to make sure when he comes up, he's got some older guys that can maybe show him how they did it, how they got to where they are today.
And it's great. I mean, Randy Knorr's great in the bullpen, and he's going to help the guys out a lot. Steve McCatty's going to help the guys out a lot. This ball's crushed by Elijah Dukes.
And Dukes has tied the ball game and won.
That's strong right there.
That is home run number 6 for Elijah Dukes, and RBI number 27. And he's tied this game at 1-1.
I'll give you a Kevin Mitchell. Kevin used to say on the bench when somebody hit a home run, gone. That ball, Johnny, is gone.
Nationals' 28th homer in this ballpark, and the 62nd of the year for the ball club.
He is just some kind of strong.
And you know, he had some football scholarship offers to play in the Atlantic Coast Conference. He would have been a heck of a linebacker. Got
yes,
so much
would.
talent, still not even tapped into.
Quite raw.
Willie Harris with a foul off the plate. Harris struck out in the first. Well, he's on base percentage at 382.
Well, I broke this down before, too, when we were talking about it. John Lannon's got 49 starts, and obviously Scott Olson, he's injured right now, is over 100. But then you got Detweiler. This is his 5th start. Jordan Zimmerman's got 9 starts in the big leagues. Chiron Martis 15, and Craig Stammen's got 4. So the other 4 guys don't even have as many as John Lannon combined. So, you know, when I came up, I had, you know, Bill Gullickson was at the major league level. You had Ron Robinson. Tom Browning had been there for many years. John Franco in the bullpen had been there many years. Our pitching coach years later would be Don Gullett. You know, it's
good with you.
You know, but like the Rick Maylors and even the Griffey seniors and Dave Collins and Joel Youngblood guys like that, they can help you with your psyche. And that's the most difficult thing I think for these young kids is when they have an issue. You don't always want to go to the pitching coach and go, you know what, I'm not really that confident in this pitch. You don't want to be telling Steve McCatty all that stuff or the manager. Sometimes a teammate, it's easier to bounce it off of him than to go to somebody else. I even did that with Joel Youngblood my first full year when I was struggling in spring training. I didn't want to go to Pete Rose and go, hey, Pete, I, you know, can't get him out.
Get away
what
from
do I exactly?
It's a pop, and Brandon Phillips has a beat on this one, and Willie Harris is down here in the 4th inning with a little pop to second base.
These are all the young men on our ball club right here, Johnny. Right here, starting staff.
12 starts for John, 11 for Martis. Zimmerman's got 9. And Water 5, and Stammen's got 4. And of the wins, for Ross and Craig are still looking for their first. All 5 drafted or signed by this organization. Well, we've got 2 down here in the 4th. Elijah Dukes has tied the ball game. A bouncing ball to Phillips again on the first, and Hernandez. And the inning is over for the Nationals, but not until they get that home run from Elijah Dukes. What a shot to left over that 377. A frost-brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Well, Ross Detwiler's made some great adjustments tonight against the Cincinnati Reds. He's never seen this team before, but look at this backdoor breaking ball. Freeze it right there. In about 2 seconds, it's going to be strike 3. Here's another one. So right there, TAVERAS, PHILLIPS, frozen by the backdoor breaking ball. Actually, Harrison, excuse me. But that's a great adjustment to the right-handers. Earlier in the ball game, in the first trip through the lineup, top of the order, they started going the other way and hitting that ball. But he hasn't gotten away from it or gone away from it and gotten afraid. That's something Steve McCaddy and I have talked about. Even if you give up some hits on your best pitch, and obviously he's got a great breaking ball, you can't go away from your bread and butter. You know,
stay with it.
You got to stay with it. Sometimes it's painful to watch, but sometimes you got to stay with it. If they keep hitting it, well, then you get all the hot water to yourself in the shower.
I love McCaddy's line, though, Rob, when he said, somebody asked him on his first day here with the ball club, what's your advice to all these guys in the bullpen? He says, throw strikes. Just throw strikes. Okay?
Yep.
There's a line drive between the gap in left and center. Willie Harris will run it down and try for second base. The toss into second, and he is safe at second. Alex Gonzalez with a leadoff double to start the 5th inning for Cincinnati.
Well, you're going to see Willie Harris run that down. Nice strong throw. Just a little bit late. As you see Gonzalez get in there.
And goes slide to the outside of the bag.
Very nice slide right there. Slide. But that's a veteran player. He sees the whole play in front of him. He knows that if he goes to the right side of the bag, he's out, so he's got to go to the left side. He's got his 8th double of the year.
So Gonzalez leads off with a 2-bagger. Ryan Hannigan, the Reds catcher, will step in. An RBI single to right center field to drive in the Cincinnati run in the second. He'll take a pitch, caught the outside corner for a strike. Ross Detwiler's longest outing this year has been 6 innings against Baltimore back in May 23rd. He only gave up 1 hit, 1 run, 1 earned run, walked 4, struck out 4, and threw 96 pitches in the 6th inning. A quality start for him in that game against Baltimore. And tonight he's in the top of the 5th against Cincinnati. A swing and a miss.
just got such great stuff. I mean, you can throw 3 pitches for strikes and go through the lineup 3 times. You're going to win a lot of ball games in this league, and Ross can do it. And he's got that inner fire that I love about pitchers. He's going to start attacking these guys. The more confidence he gains, the sorrier I feel for the lineups he's going to be facing.
Here is the 0-2.
I like how he elevates fastballs like that. I mean, you were sitting here listening to Ray Knight talk about Nolan Ryan.
In the gun. Yeah, exactly.
And Ray said, listen, I knew against Nolan Ryan, I got to hit this guy early in the lineup or early in the count, or if I get behind, I'm going to see the big curveball, or he's going to blow me. He's going to elevate the fastball.
Right.
So, you know, the better that guys like Ross Detwiler get and the more confident Jordan Zimmerman are changing eye levels, the more success they're going to have.
It isn't enough for the catcher to keep him on track and don't get away from what his best pitch is.
But remember, Will Nieves is a young guy. Josh Bard's been a backup catcher. Our main catcher, Jesus Flores, has been injured for 2 months. It's difficult. You sometimes need an old kind of veteran catcher that's just like, this is the way you have to do some things. I know these guys a little bit better than you. But once you get it down, then you take over. And you have to be your own pitching coach out on the mound. You have to be able to sense there's sometimes when you have to go with your best pitch. Look at this breaking ball. Down on his shoe tops. You're not hitting.
No way. Fourth strikeout of the night for Detwiler.
Beautiful. Look at that. Tried to 9-iron it.
And there's one down here in the top of the 5th inning. Got to bring up Johnny Cueto.
And right before we had that day off, we really got a good look at a consummate pitcher in Livan Hernandez. Does not have any great pitch in his repertoire.
And has lost something off the fastball, too.
He's throwing 85,
but he's mixing
86.
up stuff.
But he can still mix it up, John. You know, eye level, speeds, whatever it takes to win. That's pitching. It's not 98. You know, I love Strasburg's got the great 100-mile-an-hour heater and the slider. But out there, you have to think differently than a hitter. Okay, the second and third time I face this guy, what is he thinking I'm going to throw? That's pitching in the big leagues. And Livan, I think he showed a lot of our young kids how to do it without great ability.
And the 2-0 to Cueto. He's outside for ball 3. Don't want to lose him.
No.
That's got to drive managers nuts when you walk the opposing pitcher. Rob, when you came up and when you walks it and you made your debut in the major leagues, was there a guy on that Cincinnati team that kind of took you under his wing and showed you the right way?
Oh, they all did. I mean, as far as in the bullpen, it was wonderful. John Franco, Frank Williams, Rob Murphy. We're all seasoned veterans, and some of them had started in the minor leagues like myself. Like John Franco started out with the Dodgers, got traded to the Reds. And like I said, you know, Danny Jackson got traded over to us. Jose Rijo came over from the Yankees Athletics and then over to the Reds. And so I was quite blessed with a lot of the older guys that, you know, were like, you know, hey, you're doing this, you're working too hard on that. And, you know, they were able to. Even Buddy Bell was there. You know, Davey Concepcion, who played back with the Big Red Machine. So it's not always the worst thing in the world to have some veteran players around that are they also have to be giving, though. You know, they gave a lot. They gave a lot of information. I was a young kid. I peppered them with questions. You know, it doesn't help you if you're a young man and you're sitting next to, you know, even some of the guys I played with. You got Marquise Grissom sitting down there, Pat Listach sitting down there, Jim Riggleman, Manny Acta. You got to be pumping those guys for information, because the more knowledge you have, the more powerful a player you're going to be.
The 0-2 crowd, Willie Taveras strikes out for the second consecutive time. And with runners at first and second, Detwiler with a nice pitch to get him swinging on that third strike.
Well, a little bit of angst right here, too. He's upset he walked the pitcher. That's what you have to do at the major league level. You get mad at yourself. You know you're better than walking Johnny Cueto, who can't swing the stick. And you come back and get a really good leadoff guy in Willie Taveras, who's a good contact guy.
Cueto only the second walk that Detwiler's given up, and Hairston steps in 0-for-2 with a strikeout and a line out tonight. And Hairston 0-for-2. 2 down in the top of the 5th, 1-1 ball game. Martis tomorrow, then Lannon on Thursday afternoon against Cincinnati. And Harang will go for the Reds than Michael Owings on Thursday. Reds have won 6 straight over Cincinnati in this ballpark. Their run coming on Elijah Duke, 6th homer of the season, last inning of the 4th inning. And the 1-0 outside to Hairston. I think on this ball club too, Rob, when you look at the bullpen with guys like Joe Beimel, Ron Vallone, who've been around.
Vallone's a good man to go to.
Terrific guys for these young guys to feed off of.
Yep. And I think the toughest thing is there's a lot of, I want to say, newbies. They keep coming up and getting, signed. And, they're still trying to find themselves and keep themselves in the big leagues, But like a Ron Vallone, who's really been throwing the ball well and stuff like that, that's for Lannon and Detweiler to get to. Julian Tavares, my guy's ancient, 17 years in the big leagues. Those are the men you need to learn from. Can't just put it all on Randy St. Clair when he was here. Now Steve McCaddy. You got to bounce some stuff off the guys who are still active because they know these guys you're going to be facing. There's nobody better to learn from than Ron Vallone to ask him about, Cincinnati. He was there. St. Louis, he was there. What is this? What's Pujols like? What do I need to do to get him out?
Interesting note about his Hairston walks. That'll load the bases, and McCaddy makes his first trip out to the mound to talk to Detweiler. Well, that's the 4th walk of this ball game issued by Ross Detweiler. And 2 have come in this inning.
Well, and he'd been doing a great job too his last couple of starts, even though he'd been getting hit hard. Now he's pitching away from contact and walking people. He had 1 walk in 4 innings against Philly, 10 hits.
Make that 3 walks in this ballgame, not 4.
And then another walk against the Giants in 5 innings with 10 hits. So, John Lannon does a pretty good job of walking guys and getting out of the inning with a double play.
Yeah.
You don't want to make a career out of that, but already the 1 run in this game, there's Ron Vallone. 1 run came off the walk the 2nd inning after 2 outs. Single by Gonzalez, single by Hannigan, brought in Jay Bruce on the walk.
As we looked at Ron Vallone, I think you and I were talking before the ballgame about Vallone struck out 16 batters in a 9-inning game for Cincinnati back in 1990 or 91. He could bring it at his prime.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
One of the most interesting guys to talk to as you look at Ron Vallone. We did a piece with him, I guess it was a week ago Sunday. And one of the things I asked you was how much can he be of a father figure and teacher to a lot of these young guys in this pitching staff. And he said he's still learning. He can learn from these kids.
Oh, absolutely. You always learn. I mean, I'm learning from these guys. It's a process. It's a journey. You're never done learning. I learned from Steve McCaddy. I learned from Jim Palmer when he was sitting here. I mean, it's
I heard you and Bob talking about that.
Oh, my goodness. Jim Palmer, obviously I idolize him. And, had a fraction of the career he had, but he will give you information if you just ask him.
Sure.
And there's so many of those wonderful guys around this game. Like I learned from Keith Hernandez up in New York, and when he comes here, I'm pumping him for information. You can never get enough information off of these veteran and older guys that were exceptional at this craft.
Reds have got the bases loaded. There's 2 down. And the count of 1 and 2 strikes to Brandon Phillips. Both times up, he's grounded to Guzman at short. Grounded to right field, base hit past the first base bag. 1 run will score. And the Reds have got 2 more in. They lead at 3-0. Gonzalez and Cueto score. Just inside the first base bag. And it's 3-0 Cincinnati.
Well, I told you about these outside pitches right here, and you walk a couple of guys, and then nice pitch, you get a jam shot, and it just happens to trickle down the right field line. 2 runs come in. All this with 2 outs, though.
Yep, walks are going to come back and get you every time.
Walking the pitcher, but 5th start in the big leagues. You're going to learn some lessons. This is the 3rd time through the lineup. Jason Bergman warming up.
So Phillips adds to his RBI total. He'd only had 18. Or actually 41 coming in. And Hernandez with the count, no balls and 2 strikes to him. He's 0 for 2. That's the Reds, only their 4th hit of this ball game. And Detwiler goes outside and high. 1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the 5th inning.
He's up to 26 pitches in this inning.
And the 1-2. Foul it off down to the right side.
One thing I was always taught also, even with say 2 outs, you're always 1 pitch away, Johnny, from getting out of the inning. Sometimes you got to think that way. You know, do I need a ground ball double play? John Lannon is learning that, getting better at it. When he makes a walk or, you know, bat at bat, he pitches to the guy. You have to let it go. Forget it. Now, you know, okay, I got a ground ball waiting to happen right here with this guy.
3-1 Cincinnati. Here's the 1-2 to Hernandez. Grounder right back to Detwiler. Nice stop. Flips underhands to Johnson. And the inning is over, but not before. Brandon Phillips drives in 2 and puts Cincinnati up by 2, 3-1.
At Nationals Park, the Reds lead 3-1 over the Washington Nationals as Ross Detwiler just had a rough inning, and now Johnny Cueto tries to shut down Nationals offense.
Well, Cueto goes to work. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning, the Nationals need 2 runs to tie this ball game. Willie Avis catching Detwiler tonight will lead off. He is 0 for 1, lined out to first. Back in the 2nd inning. Swings at a high pitch on the outside, and it's 0-2. And we welcome all you folks who've been watching the Orioles ball game here in Massa. Nice to have you along with us. Johnny Holiday in for Bob Carpenter alongside Rob Dibble from Nationals Park in a 3-1 ball game. Cincinnati leading, and Willie Davis tries to get a base hit. Nice diving grab. Did he catch it? Yes. Willie Tavares with a heck of a play in center field, robbing Nieves of a base hit.
Well, the Orioles, Johnny, won their game 3-1, so they got to be excited. They're getting a little bonus coverage here, and the Reds have taken a 3-1 lead over the Nationals in the top half here. 2 in the top half of the fifth. Willie Tavares, always known for speed, agility right here. It's a nice wet field, so it's a soft landing. See him lay out, and you see his right hand come up. You don't want to jam your arms and your wrists. You saw him jam the glove hand, but he also kept that hand up so he wouldn't injure himself.
Good defensive center fielder. The comebacker to Cueto, and Detwiler is retired.
Well,
and it's 2 quick outs.
Is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, so you want to play some good defense, Johnny. You want to take hits and runs away from the other team. That's where you make up for a bad night at the plate when you're a good defender.
So 2 quick outs here for the Nationals in the top of the 5th inning, or bottom of the 5th inning, rather.
Plus, I can always tell you as a former pitcher, when I see my outfielders laying out for balls, it gets me excited. I want to do my job even more so, because I know that guy is risking an injury to try to save my butt out there on the hill.
Yeah, pitchers really appreciate that. Go back to the top of the Nationals order with CRISTIAN GUZMAN. Got a single to center in the first, then grounded out the second. PHILLIPS in the third. Got 2 quick National outs here in this 5th inning. Cincinnati with 2 in the top of the frame, lead it now 3-1.
Well, and it's important too for Cueto, when you get a lead, to try to put a big 0 up there on the scoreboard, keep the momentum on your side of the field, and that's another thing our young pitchers need to learn, that when we get a run or 2, we get a lead, it's the most important time of the game for you to go out there and shut the other team down. Because if you don't and you let them back up off the mat, then they can come back, steal the game from you.
There's a shot to first base. Hernandez has it. And the Nationals retired, 3 up and 3 down here at the bottom of the 5th. We go to the top of the 6th. 3-1, the Reds over the Nationals. Reds lead the Nationals here at Nationals Park. Game got started a little bit late because of some rain. Ross Detwiler throwing some smoke early, Rob, in this ball game.
Really got into trouble with that 2-run fifth, the walks and the 2-out, walking the pitch, but Elijah Dukes tied it up early in the game. That big home run. Great catch from Tavares to keep a big inning from happening in the bottom half of the 5th inning. So we go to the 6th inning, Johnny, and that great defense sometimes it'll keep your opposition off the board. We only have 3 hits against this guy. They only have 4 against Detwiler.
Yep, both young guys, 23 years of age. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world is delivered. Johnny Cueto, 23. Ross Detwiler, 23. Cueto a lot more starts than Detwiler has. As we go to the 6th inning in this 3-1 ball game. 3-4-0 for the Reds and 1-3-0 for the Nationals.
Well, 43 for Cueto. You know, career starts right now, and he had his growing pains, as I told you the other day, or earlier in the day.
Seemed like the other day.
It seemed like the other day. Where at the end of the season last year, he really struggled, and I think a lot of it is as your arm strength is waning, and you're a 22-year-old and you've never pitched, you know, halfway through September. That's when you have to learn how to pitch. When you have nothing, you come out of the bullpen after a bad warm-up, you feel like, you know, you don't want to pitch today, but you have to. I have nothing in you know, my repertoire. That's when you go out like a Livan Hernandez and go 7 or 8 strong innings and have your best outing, because mentally you overcome your physical ailments.
Detwiler learning, but as you mentioned, Rob, learning every single time he takes to the mound. It's a learning experience. A line drive into center field for a base hit for Johnny Gomes. Don't forget, June the 11th is Dollar Kids Day. Get your red on and bring up to 4 children ages 2 to 12 to a Nats game for just $1 a ticket. With the purchase of 1 full-priced adult ticket, $1 kids tickets are available at the box office only, and children must be present for purchase. For information on the Dollar Kids Day, call 202-675-NATS. Johnny Gomes, a leadoff single to center. He's at first for Cincinnati, and that is their 5th base hit of the ball. And Jay Bruce with a walk and a fly out to Adam Dunn in left field, up for the 3rd time tonight.
Jason Bergman getting loose again. It's also another tough thing for him to learn how to go from the rotation to the bullpen at the major league level.
No question.
Get up 4 or 5 times before you actually get in the game. You got to save a little bit for the game. Leave it all down in the bullpen.
And Jason was making a comment that I know every single guy who's been sent back down that comes back up has made. I don't want to go back to the minors.
No, this is the only level you want to play at. You know, that's
go back.
You never want to go back. And Johnny Gomes, we saw him over at first base, had a heart attack for a full 24 hours when he was young, like 24 years old, and was like so tough he wouldn't go to the hospital. He's sitting there in a chair in his home and he's having a heart attack. He finally ended up going to the hospital.
That is tough.
Yeah, that's a tough kid right there, number 31, Johnny Gomes.
Jay Bruce, the right fielder for Cincinnati, who 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Detwiler from the stretch with Gomes at first. Bounder fouled down the first base line.
Remember, we told you Bruce hitting 173 off lefties coming in. Walked the first time up, scored the first run of the game for the Reds. Those little focal points, I'm sure that Steve McCaddy will bring up with Ross when they go over today's outing.
And this would be tied his longest outing of the year if Detwiler gets through the 6th inning. It's mighty close to Bruce, almost got him. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bruce came in hitting .216. And he does have 14 home runs, 13 though off right-handed pitchers. And the 2-2. And Gomes taking second, a long shot to right, but Harris has a beat on it. And Gomes will go back to first, and there's 1 down. I'll tell you, Willie Harris covers a lot of ground out there in center field.
Yeah, I like this outfield. When Elijah's out there and Willie's out there, we have our fastest outfield. So they can cover some ground defensively. Always have to find room for Adam, though.
Yep. Got to keep that bat in the lineup, don't you?
Absolutely. And you know what? A lot of teams do that. A lot of teams have guys that, okay, they're not gold glovers at that position. And as a pitcher, you know that. And it's your job to you know, do your job and go out there and say, you know, if this guy hits a ball down the left field line, Adam might not get to it. So you have to try to be, you know, super sensitive to not making a pitch that the guy can beat you down the left field line.
And speaking of the outfield, a little note about tomorrow night's outfield situation from Debbie Taylor. Debbie?
Well, Johnny Maniac said today that Josh Willingham is going to start in right field tomorrow. And I asked Josh, when's the last time you played out there and started out there? And he answered, never. But he said, I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, Debbie. Josh been a little bit under the weather, too. Bouncing back nicely, thank you.
He said he had some kind of viral infection, didn't he? Josh Willingham?
Yep, upset stomach, I know that.
Ill, yeah. A lot of that going around ball club.
Count is 1 ball and a strike, 1 down here in the 6th. Alex Gonzalez, the shortstop for Cincinnati. Got that 5th inning double, scored a run. Catch it the inside corner for a strike. And Detwiler ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ryan Hannigan next. And then the Reds pitcher, Johnny Cueto, was able to get a walk out of Detwiler his last trip up. The 1-2. Gonzalez fouls it off down the right side. Cincinnati comes to town for these 3 ball games, having lost 3 of their last 4 ball games. Last time they won here in Washington way back at 06, April 26th. And they're hanging tough in that Central. Foul back behind the Nationals dugout. 3.5 games behind Milwaukee. The division coming into the next ball game. 1 and 2 strikes to Alex Gonzalez.
There's the Central, the breakdown, Johnny. Coming into tonight's action, Dusty Baker doing a fine job with this Reds team. Only won 3 of their last 10. 500 at home here in American Ballpark. You want to be 500 on the road and 650, 700 at home. Give yourself an opportunity to win your division. A lot of teams struggling, especially in our division. Phillies 12 and 14. New York Mets are the only one with a winning record at home, 17 and 9. But then the Braves 14 and 15. Marlins 14 and 17, and 1 9 and 20.
Line drive to Dunn in left field. He's got it. There's 2 down. Gonzalez flies to left. And as we go to the next games coming up here in Masson, all in Masson 2, the Reds and Nats again tomorrow night, beginning at 6:30 with Nats Extra, with Byron Kerr and Ray Knight, and a 4:30 afternoon game on Thursday. Start our coverage at 4, then on the road at Tampa on Friday, and Saturday and Sunday. That Saturday game joined in progress at 7:05.
Looking forward to that Tampa trip. More
Bet
cowbell.
you are, yeah.
Oh. Down there for the playoffs and World Series last year. You get
Great city, isn't it?
Yeah, 50,000 cowbells in one roof stadium. It's kind of loud, John.
No balls and a strike to Ryan Hannigan. And there's an example too, Rob. I've heard you and Bob talk about this a lot. That what a success story Tampa is. When you take a look at the payroll these guys had, look what they've done with developing players from their own system.
Yep. Well, look at the Marlins. Marlins last year had the lowest payroll, 184 games. So it's not just about talent. I mean, you got to develop talent and build that family atmosphere and go out there and attack the rest of the division. The Tampa Bay Rays have done the same thing. Added a few pieces last year. Cliff Floyd and Troy Percival, and then used the rest of their talent that they had, mostly from trades and from within their own organization, to win 97 games after winning 66 the year before. So it can be done, and it can happen that quickly.
2 balls and a strike. Ryan Hannigan. Just going back over Dusty Baker's numbers as a manager.
Amazing, aren't they?
Grounded to short. Nice play. The flip on to second. He got him at second. A great play by GUZMAN at shortstop. And the Reds are out of the inning. So we go to the bottom of the 6th. The Nats trying to tie this baby up. They're down by 2.
To the bottom of the 6th inning, 3-1 Reds right now. Another draft pick to tell you about. The 81st pick in the 3rd round of the draft today. Trevor Holder, he's a right-handed pitcher out of the University of Georgia. He's 6'2", 205 pounds, and the senior captain with the team, so some leadership qualities going on there. Johnny?
Debbie, thank you very, very much. You can see the list of the Major League Draft selections today. First 5 overall.
Going old.
Yep.
Mike Rizzo and Dana Brown and all the gentlemen that work for this organization. I know that Mike Rizzo helped build up that Arizona Diamondbacks minor league system with all the prospects. A lot of old guys in there, a lot of college guys.
So we go to the bottom of the 6th there at Nationals Park. It'll be Nick Johnson, Ryan Zimmerman, Adam Dunn trying to get the Nationals back in this ball game, trailing 3-1. Only 3 base hits thus far for Washington tonight.
Well, the one thing that I forgot, I just looked it up. I knew there was something special about Cueto. He's got a changeup to go along with the 95-mile-an-hour fastball. He learned from Mario Soto, and so that's his equalizer. And I knew he had great fastball, curveball, changeup, but he learned it from Mario Soto down in the Dominican Republic.
Johnson hits a high fly down the left field line. It's going to drift up in the stands, foul. Nice run by Johnny Gomes to try to run it down. So Soto is the guy that taught him that, huh?
Yes.
Pretty good guy to learn from.
I mean, and there's days you go out there just a fastball and a changeup. I mean, that's how devastating a changeup can be if learned correctly, and you got to sell it on the arm speed. Right now, I mean, 3 hits off of this kid through 5 innings. Doing a great job changing speeds and keeping the hitters off balance.
He spent some time with the Reds minor league organization with Sarasota and Dayton, Chattanooga, Louisville before he finally got his shot. So he broke in, what, 18 years of age probably?
Yeah. Signed as a free agent in 2004. And to bring up Jurgens again, he pitched 500 innings in the minor leagues with the Tigers before he got traded. So he came out of high school from Curacao. His dad grew up a huge Braves fan. Pitched 500 innings, then got called up to Detroit for 31, and now he's been with the Braves after that trade for Edgar Renteria. But it's a lot of innings, and that's what we're talking about. You know, people are like, well, this Strasburg kid's going to come right up to the big leagues. Yeah, but at what cost would you bring him up after pitching 110 innings in college right now? We're talking about, a guy like Jurgens, 500 in the minor leagues. Here's Johnny Cueto on the road this year. Got 4 wins. He's tied for 2nd. ERA right there. You see 4th. Opposing batting average. That's the big one right there. 171 on the road. Come into somebody's house and pitch like that. Not very nice.
Johnny Cueto's just given up his 4th walk of the game. Nick Johnson, actually 3rd walk of the game, is at first, leading off the last of the 6th.
Oh, this is the 3rd time through the batting order for this young man. Here's the heart. 3, 4, 5. Zimmerman, Dunn, Dukes.
Ryan single to center, that struck out looking in the 3rd. It's a rope down the left field line. It's going to be foul, though.
That was the one.
Our Firestone Leader Board is presented by Firestone, a tradition of innovation. And leaders versus right-handed pitchers. There's Ryan up there amongst the best. He's number 2. Miguel Tejada of Houston. Comes Carlos Beltran of the Mets and Hanley Ramirez of Florida.
Hunter Pence was number 1. Hanley Ramirez scuffled in April, John. And he has come back in the last 6 weeks, and it's just been phenomenal. Got to be one of the hottest hitters in baseball.
Yeah. In fact, early games we were playing them down in Florida last year, and I guess the year before. And you could just see this guy, the tremendous potential he had. And he hasn't disappointed anybody.
No. And he's the type of player that I now consider an all-star, perennial all-star, and superstar player, because for 3 straight years he's put up huge numbers.
How long is he locked in down?
He just signed an extension, so he's locked in there for I think 5 or 6 years.
This could be 2. Johnson out at 2nd and safe at first. Zimmerman beats it out. Good hustle by Ryan Zimmerman. Johnson erased at 2nd base under Phillips, tossed to Gonzalez. And watch Ryan hustle down that first base line.
Well, let's see those 24-year-old legs run. job by Ryan Zimmerman not being turned over in a double play.
So Zimmerman and Johnson erased. The force at second and Zimmerman on at first. But there's one down in the bottom of the sixth. And Adam Dunn with Cincinnati. Led in home runs 2003, 2004, 5, 6, 7, and 8. In fact, when Ken Griffey Jr. had 35 at 05, Adam Dunn had 40 with 101 runs driven in. And he can still get the job done. Cueto comes inside. The 2 balls, no strike count. Elijah Dukes is on deck. And then Willie Harris. Is ever with the lead at first base. And the 2-0 into the Nationals dugout. And tomorrow, Wired Wednesday with Manny Acton.
Yeah, he'll be on headset. We're going to pepper him with questions probably in the 3rd inning. He always loves that.
I was going to say.
But he does a great job.
But he sure does, doesn't he?
Dude.
And then covering the bases with Adam Dunn. There's a high pop-up behind the plate. The catcher drifting back into the stands. And no play for Brian Hannigan. The count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 3-1 here in the bottom of the 6th.
Adam has made a lot of strides in one particular area where people have always said, wow, he strikes out 200 times a year. Well, he only struck out 164 last year. And I know he's 61-44, but 164 strikeouts, 122 walks. I mean, he makes it very difficult on the pitchers. But he's kind of a throwback. That's what you wanted your 4 guy to be, a big power guy. And, and now that he is that big power guy, that's when all these other guys now are saying, oh, well, he still strikes out, blah, blah. That's the evolution of this game. This isn't 50 years ago. There's a lot of guys in Major League Baseball right now that strike out 150 times a year. Look at Sammy Sosa and McGuire back in their days. I mean, Sosa would punch out 170 times a year. You know, everybody was fine with that, but I don't know why they just get on Adam Dunn's case so hard. Ryan Howard does it in Philadelphia. You don't hear the same things mentioned about him. He's got a lifetime on base percentage of 382. It's very impressive for a big man in the middle of the lineup.
And for the past 5, when you talk about his hitting, for the past 5 years, only one other player besides Dunn has hit 223 home runs. And that's Albert Pujols. That's pretty good company.
And there's only one other guy in the history of Major League Baseball to put up 40 in 5 straight years. That's Babe Ruth. But you know what?
Even better company.
You know what? He's fantastically particular about how he picks out a pick. Give me a break. He's your number 4 hitter. You're paying him big dollars to hit home runs, drive in runs, but also, Johnny, make everybody in the lineup better around you.
Yep, that's what he does.
I wasn't here last year, but I do know on paper they finished 14th in offense. Right now they're in the top 5. I think he's made a difference in the offense this year.
Big difference. Adams got the count worked full. 3 down balls and 2 strikes. Ryan Zimmerman at first base. 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th. And the 3-2. Foul back into the dugout. Wow. Trying to clear out some of his teammates. Manny Acton, Jim Riggleman, bench coach alongside the Nats skipper. A good look at Johnny Cueto. 8 pitches this batter here in the 6th. With 17 homers, 44 driven in, scored 30 runs, and hitting at a 263 clip. Here's the 3-2. Pitch is high. Works him for a ball, as you were talking, Ron.
Worked him for a walk. 1 out. You bring up Elijah Dukes, who already has a home run today. It's in the 4th inning, Johnny. Don't throw it. Oh, one-handed that side. I think that was a changeup to a righty, if I'm not mistaken. Might have been a curveball, but tried to pitch him away, down low, made a mistake.
Yeah, that accounts for the Nationals' only run tonight. Johnny Cueto has walked his 4th national. With Dunn and Zimmerman now.
Got to be patient here if you're Elijah. Make him try to make a mistake, get something by you, and try to drive into the gap.
And a breaking ball catches the outside corner. Elijah with his 6th home run, 27th RBI back in the 4th inning. Dunn at first and Zimmerman down at second. 1 away. And the 0-1 to Deuce. 92 in the gun.
He's got some good stuff, and then he's got a changeup to go with it. Here's the swing. 92-mile-an-hour heater inside after going outside. It's tough to lay off that pitch. Looks good coming in.
Steps on second on to first. And the inning is over. So Dukes grounds into a double play. We go to the top of the 7th. And Cincinnati with a 3-1 lead over Washington. Russ Detwiler tonight, Rob, pretty good performance for Washington.
Great velocity, great curveball. He had 6 punch outs, but more importantly, in 103 pitches and only 3 earned runs given up. 17 first pitch strikes. Really attacked the strike zone. Made a couple of mistakes. That walk in the first inning came back to haunt him. First run of the ball game, and then the other 2 walks in the 5th inning came back to haunt him. So if he can cut down on the walks, he's all set. But in his 5th major league start, very impressive.
Yep. Jason Bergman on now for the Nationals, coming out of the Nats bullpen. There's his numbers quickly, as he will face to begin the 7th inning here for Cincinnati. Johnny Cueto leads it off.
Well, and Jason's got a big job to do right here. Keep the score where it is. Give your team an opportunity to win. You got 9 outs to work with. Got to get through this lineup right here. Get 3 outs. It's a pitch.
Yep.
93-mile-an-hour fastball, chest high. Cueto showing that he wants nothing to do with hitting in this league. It's a bad pitcher's hack right here, Johnny. 0-2 pitch.
Off the back foot, leaning away.
That was an emergency hack.
Now we go back to the top of the Reds order. Willie Taveras and Jerry Hairston Jr. And then Brandon Phillips if needed. Reds with 3-5-0. Nationals only 3 base hits in this ball game. Won a home run by Elijah Dukes. Taveras grounded to third, struck out looking and struck out swinging in his 3 trips against Detwiler. Jason Bergman, scoreless lines at 9 of 11 games pitched this year.
That might have got Will Nieves. Thought it got him maybe in the hand. got a thigh also.
No, home plate umpire Andy Fletcher giving Davis a little time to.
Here's a foul tip right here off Tavares' bat. Oh, got the inner half of his knee. That's going to leave a mark.
Yep.
But catchers, where those bruises with pride. One that's just too deep is now the fractured shoulder bone. Flores, that one hurts the team big time.
Off balance swing by Tavares.
A couple of punch outs by Bergman.
Don't forget, Saturday, June 13th, the Tampa Bay Rays will host the Nationals. First pitch scheduled for 6:08 p.m. because of Major League Baseball's national blackout window between 1:10 p.m. and 7:05. On Saturdays, Masson will join the game in progress with live coverage beginning at 7:05. So we hope you join us as the home team. Tampa Bay chooses the game start time and decides to start this game early to accommodate a concert after the game. And since that start time falls within Major League Baseball's blackout window, Masson is prevented from showing the start of the game. So we hope you'll be with us. Pick it up in progress, then after the game with Nats Extra postgame. Jerry Hairston Jr. with 2 down here in the 7th.
And got 2 quick outs. The middle of the lineup coming up, so you want to just end it right here. You don't want to see the 3, 4, 5 guys.
Jerry Hairston is 0 for 2 with a walk. Line drive to left field, drops in for a base hit. Reds 6th of the night. And Hairston's on with a single. Jason Bergman recalled from AAA Syracuse on May 20th. 2-1 out of the bullpen with a couple of holes, no blown saves. With a 5.03 earned run average. 56 career big league relief appearances. Brandon Phillips 1 for 3, a 2-run double in the 5th inning. And he's up for the 4th time. It takes a strike. The Red second baseman, 43 driven in this year, including a couple here in this ball game. Yeah, the 0-1. Guzman flips on to Hernandez, and that's it for Cincinnati. So we go to the bottom of the 7th here at Nationals Park. Nats bats have been quiet. They need a couple of runs to tie. Game, Cincinnati with 1 in the 2nd and 2 in the 5th. And the Nationals' only home run came on a homer from Elijah Dukes. Keep in mind, tomorrow night, the Reds are back on with us again on Massive 2. Aaron Harang will be on the mound for the Cincinnati Reds. He's 5-6 with a 4.11 ERA. He has dropped his last 2 starts, and Chiron Martis, the Nats will go for his 6th win of the year. 3.76 ERA at home here at Nationals Park. All of our coverage beginning at 6:30 tomorrow night with Nats Extra hosted by Byron Kerr and Ray Knight. We hope you'll be with us tomorrow night on Masson 2. Johnny Holiday along with Rob Dibble. Bob Carpenter taking a couple of days off and happy to be working alongside the Dipster here at Nationals Park. In this 3-1 Cincinnati lead. And we go to the bottom of the 7th, and Willie Harris with the grounder flips to first, and he's retired at 1 pitch.
Well, there's that really good changeup that you just saw by Johnny Cueto. Throws it down and away. You try to pull it, you put it on the ground. Nice little 4-3. Here's the pitch location on this 0-1 pitch right there, 1-0, excuse me. And it's all about selling it with the arm speed. So, you know, very difficult. That might even have been a fastball, because then you start looking for a changeup and the guy speeds it up.
Did it take you long to learn one?
I never had one. So I was never able to throw one. And if
you might still be pitching today if you had one.
Maybe I'd have a changeup and wouldn't need a fastball. But here's a guy with another great changeup, Ron Valone. Had 16 strikeouts, as Johnny told you, in a 9-inning game with the Reds.
Yeah, he's loosening up in that Nationals bullpen. Johnny Cueto facing now Anderson Hernandez.
Get that curveball in there for strike one.
And Willie Davis will be on deck. Pitch just outside, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Time becoming a factor now for the Nationals tonight in this ball game. Hernandez popped his second back in the second, grounded out the second again in the 4th. Ball club needs some base runners. It's out of play, and it's a ball and 2 strikes.
I know sometimes a rain-delayed ball game come out, throws your routine off a little bit. You're used to working at 7:05 when you come out, and it's a rain delay of about an hour and 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden you wake up and, oh my goodness, we're in the 7th inning. We're down 3-1. We got 3 hits. Get it going here. So he's got to try to get on any way they can and tie and run at the plate.
2 balls and 2 strikes to the Nationals second baseman. Johnny Cueto has worked his way out of trouble on more than one occasion tonight. A couple of double plays to get him out of trouble. 41 balls, 59 strikes, 100 pitches thrown thus far. Anderson fouls it off down to the left. But if you look at his innings pitched this year, Rob, unbelievable. The entire month of April, he never went less than 7 innings. And against the Cardinals on Wednesday, went 6 1/3, gave up 7 hits. Well, tonight he's given up 3. Zimmerman's got 1. Dukes has got that home run. But the count is full to Hernandez. And there's 2 down. Well, follow the Nationals on your phone and iPod touch with MLB.com and Bat 2009 featuring play-by-play. You get video highlights and live audio broadcasts. Visit Nationals.com on your phone, iPhone, or iPod touch to purchase. So it's quickly 2 up and 2 down to the 7th, and Willie Davis looking for his first base hit of the night. We'll see what he can do against Johnny Cueto.
There's Josh, going to be starting in right field tomorrow.
You know how anxious he is to get back in this lineup.
And I think the lack of production from Austin Kearns will ultimately, if Josh Willingham gets back to swinging the bat as hot as he was before he got ill, he can place in right field. It gives him more versatility to be in the lineup every day.
Now Willie Davis has got the 4th base hit of the night for Washington. High drive to center field, so the Nats get a runner on with 2 down. Willingham will pinch hit.
Dick Cole on the phone. I like him. I talked to him a few years ago at the Fan Fest in Cincinnati. First time I'd actually been asked to go back to Cincinnati since we won the World Series.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, new ownership of Castellini's. Arthur Rhodes having a fantastic year.
And he'll be getting the call, too.
Got my glove.
Yeah.
I need my glove.
Going to be loosening up as Dick Pole goes back out to talk to Johnny Cueto. Just a brief trip to the mound, and Pole will go back to the dugout.
Well, and Johnny hasn't thrown a lot of changeups today, so maybe he came out of the pen without a good changeup. Had an off-speed curveball, good curveball, and fastball all day today. That's what I'm talking about. Sometimes you don't have your best stuff. Obviously, his changeup's his out pitch. Got to make it work. Got to try to get through the lineup 3-4 times. That's what you're paid to do. Get people out.
So Josh Willingham will pinch hit for Jason Bergman and takes a breaking ball outside. Willingham a .252 average with 9 homers. He's driven in 12. In the last 15 games he has played, going back to May 16th, has been very productive. .448 on base percentage. Hard to believe all of his home runs, Rob. All home runs have been solo shots.
Yeah, his last, I know he's not getting a lot of ribbies, but look at this lineup. There's a lot of guys cleaning their plate in front of him.
I'd like to take that slate and wipe it clean with a 2-run shot right now.
I'd like to see that too. I talked about this. Any way you can, you get on via the walk, and now you bring the tying run to the plate. That's how you get some wins in these close ball games.
Now the 1-2 from Cueto.
You know, some people may say Detwiler's outing tonight wasn't that good. Hey, 3 runs in 6 innings, 5th major league start. I'll take it. This offense, start getting that every night, we're going to win a lot of ball games.
And I think you and Bob have always preached this year patience over and over again. Matty Acton's the most patient of anybody down there in that Nationals dugout.
Man, he's a saint, that guy. I mean, it's tough. I mean, we've beaten ourselves so many times on the errors and on the pitching. You can't blame the coaches for that stuff. That's stuff that's happening out between the lines.
Runner going. Called third strike. And Willingham strikes out looking. So we go to the top of the 8th. And it's a 3-1 ball game. Cincinnati up by
pitcher Steven Strasburg out of the San Diego State, and one question as the team moves forward is can he live up to all the hype? And Manny Acta thinks he has the right makeup to deal with it.
The main thing is what he's going to do after he signs. It's always going to be pressure when you're drafted #1 overall, because people are going to, you know, be expecting big things out of you and be comparing you with a lot of people who have been taken first overall and all that. If he can stay away from all that and just be himself, and if he's as good as advertised right now, I don't think he'll have any problems.
And tonight, Stevens' college coach at San Diego State, Tony Gwynn, described him as a humble, hardworking kid who just gets it. And he said he really wants to play big league baseball.
Thank you, Debbie, very much. He said the same thing about Ron Dibble, too. Tony Gwynn said the guy's really got it. Boom. And he does. And he did.
That was never humble.
Ron Vallone has come on now to pitch for the Nationals. Scoreless relief in each of his last 18 appearances. Look at his numbers. 16 innings, only 8 hits allowed, no earned runs. Walked 7 and struck out 6.
Well, the one thing I've loved about Ron being here is his approach. He knows he doesn't have the good mid-90s fastball that he had when he came up to the major leagues, and now he's got to locate pitches. He's got to be very careful with where he pitches some of these hitters, because every hitter now, when you're an older pitcher, is dangerous.
As you got older, you adjusted?
Absolutely.
You had to.
Absolutely.
And Ramon Hernandez. It's a pop foul down the first baseline. Nice catch by Nick Johnson there on the tarp. This one goes in the stands and there's one down.
And it's not always velocity, it's movement. I mean, you know, Ray Knight was talking about Nolan Ryan at the end. His fastball is a little bit straighter than it was earlier in his career. Here's Nick Johnson. Great concentration. Got to the tarp early. He's hanging on the tarp waiting for the ball to come down.
And Johnny Gomes will step in against Ron Vallone. He's got a 1-for-3 night. Got a single to center back in the 6th. And the left fielder with a .292 batting average. Still looking for that first elusive home run of the year. That's bullpen last 16 games for him.
Very nice. Less than 3 ERA for those 16 games. It was up around 7. So it's come down considerably.
And you saw the man in the background that's got to be really happy.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And one thing, and not saying that Randy St. Clair did do this, but he's put an emphasis on the pitchers to put it on themselves. Take it upon yourself to go do your job. You know, go out there, attack these guys. As I said before, Detwiler, 17 first pitch strikes tonight. Doing a great job.
And Johnny Gomes with a base hit, his second consecutive. The Reds got a man on here in the top of the 8th inning. Russ Detwiler looking on.
Went in, probably changed his shirt, take off the wet shirt, put on a dry one, and that sweatshirt. Protect your moneymaker. Those young kids watch the playback of the game. You should never go to bed without a sweatshirt on. You should always cover your arm.
Detwiler's numbers.
It's a pretty good night right there. Those 3 walks all came back to hurt him.
And 6 strikeouts for Detwiler. 3-1 ball game. We're in the 8th inning with Johnny Gomes at first base. Jay Bruce, the right fielder. And a walk and a fly out to left, and then flew out to center. And Willie Harris's last time up. Ron Vallone, the 3rd Nationals pitcher tonight, following Jason Bergman to the mound.
When they get back to Strasburg for a second, I like what Tony Gwynn said about him. And he said to Strasburg, listen, you've got to do, at the end of the day, follow your heart. You know, don't get into a bidding war, negotiations, and let your agent speak for you. At the end of the day, you know, it's your career, it's your life. You need to take control of it. Absolutely.
Perfect example.
Absolutely. And, you know, so your agent works for you. And I think sometimes some of these young players think that the agent is doing it out of the love for their kids. No. They're getting their 5% chunk of change at the end of the day. So the more money they make for you, the more money the agent makes. And here's Ron Vallone right here. After giving up that 1-out hit, comes back and gets the guy that was hitting 173 off lefties coming in tonight, Jay Bruce.
Yeah, there's quickly 2 down here in the 8th inning. Alex Gonzalez has singled to right center, has a base hit tonight, 1 for 3. Actually 2 for 3 with a double in the 5th inning.
Got a guy there.
Yep, Hughes got it. And it's a good inning for Ron Ballone. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. Still Washington with some work to be done. Front lead. Get your red on and buy yourself a Grand Slam flex plan today. Pick 4 games and get 1 free. 5 different flex plans to choose from so you can enjoy ultimate flexibility. Pick your plan, pick your games, pick your seats, get a free game. It's that easy. For information on the all-new Grand Slam flex plans, simply call 202-675-NATS or visit nationals.com/Grand Slam. Christian GUZMAN tries to get something going here in the 8th inning for the Nationals, and Arthur Rhodes, the former Oriole, has played 24 games for the Reds, will come on the relief of Johnny Cueto.
Look at the numbers, though.
4 hits.
Yeah, he's been in 24 games, 20 innings, 9 hits, 1 earned run. 6 walks, 16 strikeouts. Got the .45 ERA. That's 0.45 ERA. Their bullpen is 4th in the major leagues right now in bullpen ERA with a 3.32. So when they do have the lead, they're tough to get a run off of.
And Arthur Rhodes has not allowed a run in his last 8 trips out of that Cincinnati bullpen. 62nd in the all-time major league list with 738 career appearances. Steve Carlton 61st with 741. So it's GUZMAN, the top of the order in the 8th inning for the Nats. Nick Johnson and Ryan Zimmerman. The Reds up 3-1. And both starters out of the ballgame. GUZMAN first pitch swinging, fouls it back. Against Arthur Rhodes, pretty tough times for Christian. Only 1 for 11.
I think there's a lot of guys over. You don't make almost 800 appearances if you're not pretty good. And Arthur, early in his days, threw really hard. I think, I'm checking it now, took 2007 off after a bad year. Came back 08 last year and then 09. And almost like a rebirth.
Went from a starter to a guy that's dominant coming out of the bullpen.
Career numbers right there.
79 and 61. 32 saves.
No, he's been one of the best setup guys for a decade when he stopped being a starter.
There's a shot to left field. That ball is going back, and it's gone. Gone. How about that? Christian GUZMAN leads off the bottom of the 8th, and it's a 1-run ball game.
Well, maybe we should talk more about that 1 run that he's given up in 24 appearances, Johnny. We got 6 outs to go.
And Christian GUZMAN gets his 14th RBI and 3rd home run of the year.
Well, he throws him a cutter on the inner half, and it's down and in to a righty, and Christian connects with it. Goodbye, Mr. Baseball.
Over the 377-foot sign at left center field into that Cincinnati bullpen. So that line was up the fans who've come out to watch this ball game tonight in a rainstorm that delayed the start of it for almost 2 hours. Nick Johnson, Ryan Zimmerman, Adam Dunn, the heart of the Nationals order up now. Nobody out in the bottom of the 8th. The Nats have 1 in. Breaking ball catches the outside corner of the plate, and it's no balls and 2 strikes to Nick Johnson. Nick bounded into a double play in the 1st, flied out to Willie Taveras, and then walked in the 6th.
He was hurt the whole year with the Mariners in 07. They let him go in October.
Johnson takes a called 3rd strike on the outside part of the plate. Ryan Zimmerman heads to the plate now. And in the past, some pretty good selections here, Rob, of guys that the Nationals drafted, leading with DETWILER just 2 years ago and Jordan Zimmerman 2 years ago. Ryan was first in 05. Lannon, Stammen, and Bergman also draft picks by this ball club.
Now Jordan Zimmerman was a compensation sandwich pick for Soriano leaving. So that was well done there. DETWILER, 6th pick overall in 07. Always nice when you draft guys high and they do make it. It's not very easy. I talked to former Orioles general manager, assistant general manager, Jim Burkett, and he said that very high draft picks, pretty much 50-50, 52% make it. So it's not an exact science. It's very difficult to project young men, especially high school kids, to the major leagues 3-4 years down the road. It's definitely a gift that these scouts have, these evaluators have.
I think when you're talking about Mike Rizzo back in his days with Arizona, when you look at the nucleus of young guys that he drafted and what they were able to do for that ball club while he was out there, I think it speaks for itself. Arthur Rhodes has served up a home run to CRISTIAN GUZMAN to cut it to 3-2 Cincinnati. He's got a 3-ball and 1-strike count.
Well, I do know Mike, when he was with the Diamondbacks, they won, I think, 6 championships at the minor league level, and then that World Championship in 2001. And Mike was a part of all of that. So, he's got a good man in Mike Rizzo.
Well, you're not kidding. And with the drafting today of Strasburg, it's up to the powers that be with Stan Kasten and Lerner family and Mike and everybody else to get involved. And they've got till August the 15th.
A win would be the cherry on top of that.
Base hit to left field.
Could be 2.
Wright will take the turn. He'll go for second. Here's the throw, and Zimmerman in standing up with a double.
Very nice.
And the Nats have got the tying run at second base.
Zimmerman gets a nice fastball right here. He's just going to stroke it back up the middle, but he hits it hard enough into left center field. Winds up on second base with a little bit of hustle. So Zimmerman hustling all night tonight. Pays off.
We saw him hustle the previous time up in that fielder's choice. He was able to beat it out. Ryan at second base, 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Adam Dunn will be up for the 4th time tonight. Walked twice, flew out to Jay Bruce and Wright back in the 4th inning. 17 homers, 44 driven in. Arthur Rhodes delivers, and it's roll for a ball. 0 for 9 is done against Rhodes.
Ouch. Well, time to be 1 for 10 with either a hit or a homer. Outfield playing straight away for Dunn.
Zimmerman off second. And fouls it at the plate. The count 1-1. 3-2 Cincinnati. Bottom of the 8th. That is a mighty 2-mile-an-hour fastball from Arthur Rhodes. Well, when he came up with the Orioles, he could bring it with the best of it. And now coming out of that Cincinnati bullpen with tremendous success. Here's the 1-1. And it's low for ball 2. Run from home run by Guzman, the first run allowed. And this is 9th appearance out of the bullpen.
Well, I think with the base open, and you've already given up a home run, which was unexpected, I'm sure, from Arthur Rhodes.
David Weathers, we saw in the bullpen.
Just don't want to make a mistake at first base opening.
Here's the 2-1. Pop it up, foul back behind the stand. Opponents hitting only 134 against Rhodes as Mike McDougal loosens up out of that Nationals bullpen. Rob, you think that Rhodes knows that Dunn is over?
Absolutely. I knew it. Every guy on the opposition was hitting off of me. So when you saw like that DeCenzo clip earlier in the day, I knew he was 5 for 5 off of me with 2 triples.
Inside for ball 3. Count is full to Dunn.
When he laid down a sacrifice bunt or suicide squeeze, I knew they were trying to embarrass me. They had like a 7-run lead in the 8th inning, and that was just giving up back-to-back doubles.
And they laid down a bunt.
And they laid down a bunt. So there was a reason for my madness there, because I knew that this guy had my number, and I think it was Jim Essien was the manager. He got canned a couple weeks later anyway. So
I remember Jim Essien. The outfielder, breaking ball, call, strike 3. And Dunn is going to talk to Andy Fletcher about that. Take a look at this.
There's fastball, gets ahead. Another fastball in there. Down low, carefully throws a fastball in, and another fastball, and then a big breaking ball. It's not on our pitch track.
Nope. Dusty Baker makes a trip out to the mound, and Arthur Rhodes is done for the night. So we'll step out. A call to the Cincinnati bullpen. We'll be back in just a moment. Washington Nationals. David Weathers has come in from that Reds bullpen. He shut out the opponents in 19 of his 23 appearances. 920th career appearance for David Weathers. Nationals threatening here. They've got 2 down and Zimmerman down at second base. Adam Dunn not happy with the call to that 3rd strike, and Elijah Dukes with the chance to get a base hit and tie this baby up. Nationals' 6th hit in the night was Guzman's home run, or Zimmerman's single, a double. Pitch outside, and it's 1 ball and a strike.
Andy Fletcher has home plate tonight. He's been generous. We can't just say that was against Dunn. He gave that same strike zone to Detwiler. He gave the same one to Cueto. He's been very consistent all night. So as a hitter, you have to go up there knowing he's been a little loose on the edges tonight. If it's way outside and it was the first breaking ball, he showed Dunn.
David Weathers, the 3rd Cincinnati pitcher. Willie Harris. Pitch outside. The last 10 years, David Weathers leads all major league pitchers with 668 appearances.
It's a lot of work.
A lot of work in Milwaukee. He was there.
I was just leaving the game in '96 with the Marlins. I was injured that whole last year, and then I retired. And he was just coming up in '96, and he would be a part of that, Florida team. Great guy to have on your team. One of the nicer players you'll ever come across, and being consistent at this level for so many years has kept him in the big leagues.
And he strikes out Elijah Dukes. Back-to-back strikeouts by Dunn and by Dukes, and this is the high point of the inning on Guzman's homer. It's a
Watching these young guys work. He threw a lot of strikes. He had the 3 walks, but he punched people out and really shows that he can really be effective against National League hitters. Got behind a couple of big guys, made a pitch, really a good pitch, away to Brandon Phillips, and then he went right back with the same pitch. Brandon Phillips, good hitter, went with the ball down the first base line, and that's the difference in the game.
All right, we got the game recap coming up after the 9th inning. Hopefully some more runs for the Nats, and a look back at the first round pick of Steven Strasburg as well. We'll take it back upstairs to Johnny and Rob.
Bart, thank you very much. We go to the bottom of the 9th here at Nationals Park. 3-2 Reds lead. It'll be Willie Harris leading off. Anderson Hernandez in the number 2 hole. Francisco Cordero comes out of that Reds bullpen. 25 innings pitched, 21 hits allowed, 4 earned runs, struck out 23 and only walked 8 batters. He's among the National League leaders in saves. He hasn't given up a run in his last 11 appearances. The Cincinnati bullpen, wow, they're tough.
They're very tough. They said before, 4th in earned run average in the major leagues as far as their bullpen goes. They have a lead. It's tough to get it back from them. But it's only a 1-run difference right here. A couple of home runs. You just string together a few hits, maybe a walk or something, and try to send this to extra innings.
Willie Harris struck out swinging, popped to second, grounded out to second. He's 0 for 3, leads off the bottom of the 9th. Takes a strike call. Francisco Cordero's first blown save was July 21st of 08 against San Diego. His last blown save was that year ago. Another one of these guys have been around a little bit too, Rob. Got a lot of experience under his belt.
Rangers, Brewers, then the Reds, and you know, he's had times when he's been bounced out of that closer's role, but gotten it back. It happens from time to time.
He's converted all 14 save opportunities this year.
Brad Lidge was put on the disabled list with the bad knee, blowing his last 6 saves. People wondering what's going on. You know? It goes back a month, maybe 5 weeks. They're thinking, well, maybe when Lidge comes back, Ryan Madsen keeps his job.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a very tough job to keep sometimes when you're going through rough times. And Cordero has done it just like everybody else. McDougal was a closer, going back to the Kansas City Royals at one time.
Pretty darn good with Kansas.
Very good one. You know, I mean, everybody goes through rough spots. And, you know, Jay Bruce right now going through a rough spot with the Reds. A lot of peaks and valleys in this game, as I said before. A very humbling profession.
And the 1-2 to Harris. Brandon Phillips second on the first, and Hernandez got it. And there's one down here at the bottom of the 9th, and Harris ground out to second. One away, Anderson Hernandez will come up. Trying to get something going. Hernandez struck out swinging his last time up. He is 0 for 3, a strikeout looking last time. Grounded out to second, popped out to second. You'd like to break this 0 for 3 night.
Well, you can't know Cordero that well, so the one thing you should do as a younger player, be patient. It can come to you.
94 in the gun. It's 2 balls and no strikes. To the National second baseman. With Austin Kearns on deck. And the actors in Riverman talking things over. 3-2 Reds, bottom of the 9th, 16,274. Braving the elements to come out for this game, which was delayed almost 2 hours at its start time of 7:05 to almost close to 9. And the count is 3 balls and no strikes to Hernandez.
May want to take another pitch right here.
Make him throw strikes. He did. 3-2.
I said before, any way you can get that 1-out walk. Kearns can pop a double. Tie game.
Second base again. Phillips has got it. Again on Hernandez. So back-to-back groundouts to second base.
Johnny, this could be the possible defining moment. Arthur Rhodes had just given up a home run. There's Guzman, then he strikes out Adam Dunn with a man on second. David Weathers comes in the ball game to face Elijah Dukes, and he strikes him out on some inside heat. Big strikeouts from the Reds bullpen. Could be their defining moment. Austin Kearns is going to try to change all that.
Yeah, the Reds only 1 out away from winning their 16th game on the road this year, their 30th overall. And winning for the first time here in this city since July 26th of 2006. They lost their last 3 games at RFK, their last 3 last year here at Nationals Park. They've got a 3-2 lead with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th. And Austin Kearns down at the Nationals' last hope. It's a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tomorrow it's going to be Martis against Harang, and then on Thursday, Lannon against Michael Owings. But tonight, one of those nights where the bats just didn't come alive that much. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Kearns.
Coming off an off day, a little bit flat. Facing maybe one of their best pitchers. Facing Harang tomorrow. He's coming off a bad year. He's had his ups and downs. Bronson Royal's got a great record, but an enormous ERA. One of the top 5 ERA guys in the league. You know he's going to be tough.
Pitch just misses outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Nobody on. Bottom of the 9th.
A great effort though. Detwiler, Bergman, Fallone, Dougal. Everybody on the pitcher side tonight's done the job.
Detwiler 6 innings, 3 runs, 5 hits, and the walks came back to haunt. 103 pitches, right?
103 pitches. 18 first pitch strikes.
And Horizon Files, Nats Extra coming up in just a couple of moments with Byron Kerr and Ray Knight. Right above that Cincinnati bullpen. Pitch is in there for a call, 3rd strike, and the ball game is over. Kearns takes a call, 3rd strike. Maniacta quickly out. Intervene between Andy Fletcher and here's Rick Eckstein. He can't take a look at the last pitch. And Rick Eckstein going to let
This is the last pitch right here. That pitch is way low. And this is the reaction from the bench.
You got no integrity!
Well, Adam Dunn couldn't believe it when he was called out on strikes. Neither could Austin Kearns. And that is the ball game. The Nationals can't get a run at the bottom of the 9th inning. It's Cincinnati